Let me ask you this. Who said this, if you remember, from watching movies and reading? Go ahead, make my days. Clint Eastwood, yeah. And what was the character? Dirty Harry, right? And who said, what about this one? Hasta la vista, baby. Schwarzenegger, right? And what movie was that? Predator? Was it? No. Terminator, yes. Why do we like these movies so much? And why do these images, we like so much? Any answers? No. We like them so much because all of us at one time or another have wanted to confront someone who has wronged us and hold all the cards. An eye for an eye, payback for the wrong the other has done. Because most of us want justice done. And if the other won't do it, we will take it into our own hands. And the thing is, we're living in a culture of payback, quid pro quo, and justice. Watch TV to see what's going on. We are indeed, whether we like it or not, whether you agree with me or not, but we are indeed a culture of vengeance. One that teaches, don't get mad, get even. We have the Avengers to do that for us. There is this vindictive urge to pay back. Let me ask you this. How many chances do you give people before you just write them off? Be honest with me here. 2 chances? 3 chances? 4 chances? Come on. And then what? If nothing happens, you take your Magnum 45, like they're carrying, or you take your old painless handheld M134 minigun with M6 handguard, as we see in Predator or those movies, Who is waiting for your forgiveness? Who is waiting for your forgiveness? What quid pro quo are you expecting to make your forgiveness more palatable or possible? Are any sins committed against you that are unforgivable? One of my sisters has a saying. I'm the oldest one, but she's the wisest one. And she's younger, way younger than me. She's the wisest one, and she has a saying. And she says, I'm not going to let that, whatever the issue, rent space in my head. I'm not going to let that rent space in my head. She just refuses to get caught up in inconsequential things, and petty arguments. She does not sweat the small stuff. And instead she seeks the best in each person, acknowledging that each one of us has flaws and has some very strange, and we make some very strange decisions in life. But she says, it's their life, it's not mine. I will cherish them as friends. And I can see that her life is happier because she is not weighed down by grievances and annoyances. And she always says to me, David, with that voice, calm voice. David, don't collect pebbles, because you can wind up with more gravel than you can carry. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? I would like you to take a look at your grievance closet. Take a look at your grievance closet. What's hanging there? Can you get rid of that grievance or that grievances? Can you take it back to its original donor and tell him or her that the grievance doesn't fit anymore? Don't let that rent space in your head. And so comes the question that Peter asked, so Jesus, how often should I forgive? Peter's question is apt today as it was more than 2,000 years ago. How much do we need to forgive? How often should we be doing all that we can to wash away the stains which weaken the bonds between us, which take their toll on our own sense of well-being, our very own peace, not to mention the peace between us? We know the answer, of course. We know the answer. You and I, who know deep down that this is the very hallmark of what it is to live as followers of the one who forgave all in us. 70 times 7. And there are different translations, 7 times 7, 70 times 7, which takes us to 490 offenses. And I'll tell you the truth. If the hurt is real, I cannot imagine giving a coworker or someone 77 chances to inflict pain. No. The thing is, Peter is counting. Even he says, hey, we can forgive 7 times. And then punish. Because actually in Jewish culture, you would forgive 3 times, and then you would punish. But Peter, doubles it and adds 1 more because 7 is a perfect number, so wow. And Jesus says, no, Peter, it's not about counting. It's 70 times 7. That's a lot. Because forgiveness is unlimited. Because my grace to you is unlimited. So Jesus is saying that we are to forgive often and completely, as often and as completely as it takes. Just as often and as completely as we have been forgiven. Not too long ago, I was reading Ernest Hemingway, a story, especially in the capital of the world. In it, he tells a tale of a Spanish father searching for his son who ran away from home after having a fight with his old man. And the father so badly wants to reconcile with his beloved boy that he places an ad in the local newspaper. And the ad reads, Paco, meet me at the Hotel Montana at noon on Tuesday. All is forgiven. I love you, your dad. And the next day, at noon, arriving at the Hotel Montana, the father is astonished to discover 800 young men named Paco waiting for the embrace of forgiveness. And the thing is, this story makes a profound assessment of the human condition. Because we all have a deep hunger for forgiveness. We carry the guilt around. When we inventory our lives, bad decisions, selfish acts, and stupid moves stand out in our mind's eye. We know that we have spoken angry words, behaved in bad ways, and even done violence toward other children of God. And sure, it is true. There are those out there who claim to have no guilt, no misgivings as to how they have conducted their lives. And I have heard people say, with a beer in hand and a belly full of bluster, I have no regrets. There's nothing in life that I would have done differently. Did you watch the movie Unforgiveness? That was with Clint Eastwood. I like Clint Eastwood. He's one of my favorite actors. Not my favorite political commentator, though. But I like him. And there's, in this Western, this movie, Unforgiven, there is a moment where a young outlaw, the Scofield kid, is overcome by the fact that he has just shot a man. Even though the dead man was a nasty character, the young fighter struggles with what he has done. And finally, through his tears, the kid appeals to his older partner, William Money, played by Eastwood. And he says, I guess he had it coming to him. He sure had it coming to him, didn't he, Will? And silently, Money thinks over the weeping man's question and then, spitting in the dust, as he does. He growls, we've all got it coming, kid. We've all got it coming. Yes, we've all got it coming. There is no distinction between us humans. That's what the Apostle Paul writes. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. This is why we all hunger for pardon. Because we're all here, Pacos, yearning to run and find a Father who will declare, all is forgiven. And the thing about it is that forgiveness is not easy. I'm not talking about cheap grace here. I'm not talking about cheap forgiveness. Forgiveness is not easy. It requires great courage. And the heart of forgiveness is not found in excusing harm or allowing it to go unchecked. Gloating over bad stuff is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is to be found rather in choosing to say that although our wounds will change us, we will not allow them to forever define us. Forgiveness does not ask us to forget the wrong done to us, but instead to resist the ways it seeks to get its poisonous hooks in us. Forgiveness asks us to acknowledge and reckon with the damage so that we will not live forever in its grip. And true forgiveness, in many circumstances, has to be hard as nails. We never help a person by not demanding accountability for their actions. There will always be those, people users who will willfully try to exploit the forgiving nature of a kindly person. They sense the indulgent soul. They know when they can get away with wrongdoing. And we know classic examples of self-serving manipulative behavior, that especially are found among the cases of drug addiction and domestic violence. The addict exploits the family shamelessly, borrowing and then stealing. In such circumstances, repetitious, sentimental forgiveness is not showing love. Love must have some titanium in it. Saying no and confronting the sinner is acts of mercy. And the same applies to the cases of domestic violence. The abuser plays all repentant and begs for forgiveness. And too often forgiveness is granted without any rules being laid down. It would be more loving to say the very first time, I forgive you. But if this ever happens again, I'm out of here. There are no more chances. And then act on it. That is true loving. It is to stand up and say, I forgive you, but you must face the evil of your action. The thing about this is that Christ showed us the way. Christ's forgiveness was never sloppily indulgent. He loved people enough to confront them. So forgiveness must always stem from the strength of true love, not from syrupy, sentimental, indulgent kindness. Brothers and sisters, sometimes we are given the grace to forgive quickly. Sometimes the grace to forgive takes a long time to receive. And sometimes it never comes. And so forgiveness often requires practice. It takes choosing to work at it. You might have to chip away at it again and again and again. 77 times at least, as Jesus says in this passage. Forgiveness might be, the hardest blessing we will ever offer or receive. And as with any difficult practice, it is important to us not only for the strength we will need for it, but also the grace. The grace that will, as we practice again and again, begin to shimmer through our wounds, drawing us toward the healing and freedom we could hardly have imagined at the outset. If God loves us so much that God continues to forgive us whenever we ask it, can we not do the same? To follow the one who forgave all in us means to be people of forgiveness. Because forgiveness is man's deepest need and God's highest achievement.